Saludos amigas y amigos de la revista Wine Drop de la Bodega de Méndez y compañía. Hoy tenemos el gran placer de conversar con Frèderic Panaïotis de la bodega Ruinart. Él es el chef de cave, quien nos va a estar hablando un poco de su trayectoria, de las novedades que tiene la bodega y qué podemos esperar para esta época festiva que se aproxima. Voy a cambiar a inglés porque queremos facilitarle la conversación a Frèderic. Así que, welcome, Frèderic. It's a great pleasure to have you with us in this conversation.
Hola, buenos días. Yo puedo hablar un poquito el español, pero también mejor de cambiar al inglés.
Perfect. So let's get right on to it. Frèderic, how would you describe yourself to someone who has never heard about you?
Well, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
To answer, I think I would describe myself as somebody who's completely passionate about my work, for sure, about wines, but not only. I have other passions in life. Creative. I think you need to be for that position. Scientific, geeky sometimes, but also open-minded. But I like to explore with some background. In French we say Cartesian, which means you believe in those factual things, and then you can experiment. Quite social, outgoing. Love to travel, love to discover, and I could probably speak to him in the language because I speak a few languages.
Well, that sounds like a great combination for the job that you do at Ruinart. So what's the role, or how can you describe the role of a chef de cave? What's the part of the job that you enjoy the most?
I think, simply put, the chef de cave, and that definition is not from me. It's one of my mentor in my previous life at Veuve Clicquot. The chef de cave is the guardian of the temple. He and his team are the ones who make sure the style remains faithful, year after year, that you carry the DNA of the house, the value of the house through the style of the wine, that you anticipate the future, because as chef de cave, we have the great responsibility to leave a legacy. When I joined Ruinart in 2007, and until 2.5 years ago, when it came to the Prestige Cuvée de Ruinart, I was only talking about the wines that my predecessor make. And right now, I'm already crafting the Don Ruinart that I won't see. I won't be here no matter what. I will be retired at best. So you always live in the future. So this is, quite important to understand that you live with a legacy, and you create a legacy for the future and the next generation. And you have to share and transmit your know-how and your knowledge. Best part of the job, I think it's right now. It's the tasting the wines from the past harvests, and starting to craft the blends. That takes anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 months, depending on the complexity of the harvest. But it's very exciting. Along with the harvest itself, the harvest is almost too short and too crazy to enjoy. It's 24 hours is not enough in a day to do everything you want to do. So the day went by, or go by very, very quickly, and it's super intense, and you have a lot of decisions to make, and it's very exciting, but it's hard to really enjoy it because you don't have any moment of time where you can think about it. It's always it's your mind goes crazy, during harvest. That's exciting. But right now we have the harvest in mind, and you try to understand how the year made those wines, and what also the decisions made, resulted in those in the profile of the wines, and you obviously create the blends, and that's the core of the job, really. So that would be the most enjoyable part, and along also with something that I'm deeply missing right now, which is traveling. Another part of the job that is very enjoyable is to share share the wines with the consumers, share your knowledge with people like you at Méndez, our distributors, our agents, our partners, share our knowledge with sommelier, with chef, and discover at the same time, other cultures and other countries and new food. And so this is obviously with COVID, this has been greatly impacted in 2020.
I think
let's hope for a better future next year.
Exactly. I think we're all in that same boat, wishing to, at least for traveling, to get a little bit more normalized next year. So let's cross our fingers and hopefully we have a better 2021. So going more deeply into the brand and the house, how would you describe Ruinart using a word or a sentence? How would you describe it?
Well, a word would certainly not be enough, but I think Ruinart is sort of a jewel in Champagne. It's a house that has a perpetual or timeless elegance, a spirit of innovation. You'd be surprised how much innovations were happen at Ruinart, including being the first house. It was maybe the
exactly.
one major innovation. And if it comes to the wine that have an extraordinary aromatic freshness, yet that are extremely accessible as well. They're so easy to drink, so easy to enjoy, whether you're a connoisseur or you're just new to Champagne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and about innovation, we have a question a little bit further on in the conversation about precisely being the original house of Champagne. What are you doing in moving into the future? But we get to that in a second. So
okay.
At what point Ruinart decided to focus mainly on Chardonnay? What was the reason for that?
Well, we have the oldest history of Champagne. Will be 300. We'll be entering our 4th century in 2029, which is for me tomorrow. I mean, the wines are already in the cellar. The best wines to celebrate that year, they've already been made. Quite a few years ago. And so long history altogether, but quite a short history in winemaking. And Chardonnay is a great example. The focus in Chardonnay starting after World War II, and actually maybe during World War II, but it was not before that. So it's 70 years ago that the house decided to focus on Chardonnay. And there's a man behind this story. The man is Bertrand Mur. He was part of the Ruinart family, one of the descendants. Took the company over right after World War II in 1946. And when I joined Ruinart in 2007, the guy was still alive, was still coming to his ex-office. He was no longer, he was retired a long time ago. But he would still come here, enjoy being here. There was his office, managing his own business. And I was lucky to meet him quite a few times. And one day I asked him, what's the reason? That's the same question you asked me. Why did you choose Chardonnay? Mm-hmm. At the time where most of the champagnes were heavily Pinot Noir oriented, they were quite, big and bold and rich and winey in a way. And his answer is the best answer, that something that will stay in my mind forever. He said, Frédéric, for me, champagne is best enjoyed from 9 a.m. in the morning until 9 a.m. the next morning. I'm quoting him.
So, I will have to agree. I have to agree.
His idea was to craft a champagne that you could enjoy day and night, all day long, all night long, which means it was a very modern approach. It was a very innovative approach. We're not the first house to have been using Chardonnay, of course, but we're one of the first one. And I think his idea of having a modern expression of champagne that is lively, fresh, refreshing, easy to drink, that was very modern at the time. And of course now it seems obvious to have this style of champagne, but at the time it was quite revolutionary. And Chardonnay today represents a bit over 30% of the Champagne area. Back in the days, in the 40s, it was probably barely 20%. So it was more difficult to find, more difficult to craft in a way than wines from Pinot Noir and Meunier.
And I think that's a part of what makes Champagne perfect for Puerto Rico because of our Caribbean weather. But we were also wondering, we in Puerto Rico, we have like a very dense gastronomy. Our dishes are like very much of this rice, and there's a pork, and there's greasy things that we enjoy. What will be a good pairing for a Puerto Rican dish?
Well, I remember I was in Puerto Rico 5, 6 years ago. I remember I was on
Oui.
my own. I have a good friend there. But I remember one day I was left by myself and I went strolling, and I'm next to the food market, which is kind of covered. There's a great tacos place. I can't remember the name, but the tacos were so good, and they're in a way I think they represent for me part of the Puerto Rican or the Caribbean culture. You know, you have the tortilla and then the hard tortilla with the meat and I thought this dish with rosé would be amazing. And if you can also imagine, for me there would be like so pork and even beans and rice. They're quite fat but so and rich. But if you use like this bottle here, Ruinart rosé, which has freshness but also depth and those quite enhanced aromatics of breadfruit, tropical fruits. I think it works as a contrast very well. And then and I should take a bottle of Blanc de Blanc. Then something like a ceviche, which is made. I don't know if it's typical Puerto Rican, but probably you have the fish, you have the access, you have everything to make amazing ceviche.
It's
So
more
that
Peruvian. It's more Peruvian. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's more Peruvian.
We do have very good ceviche here because being an island and being in the tropics, we get high quality fishes as well. So you can find good ceviche around here, like
exactly, or like sashimi style, or like even I mean, you marinate the fish with lemon and things, and you have that kind of. And then you have variations about it, even like I mean, you can be creative with this, but this with Blanc de Blanc would be just amazing. So many options.
Yeah, I know. So going back to the history of the house, we know that Ruinart has been renowned for the contributions to the history of champagne making in the world. So being the first established house of champagne, what is Ruinart doing to keep the brand relevant and up to date among the array of competitors in the market? And that's the question of innovation that you were talking earlier. What is the brand doing to move forward into the upcoming and centuries?
Yeah, there are quite a few things that are still in the cellar and can still in work in progress, but we have some very exciting projects for the future. But there is right now, at least in Europe, but not yet in your part of the world, a very innovative project. Give me 1 second.
All right.
So you're familiar, just back. You're familiar with this bottle, the Blanc de Blanc?
That's very famous down here.
Which is lovely, which is amazing, but you can see, and that beauty has also a disadvantage, is the bottle needs to be protected, especially on the sunny weather like you guys are lucky to have. And at the same time, Ruinart is a very conscious house. We've been working hard to have a very friendly approach to environment, and for us, we think the emergency right now is climate change. So it is basically reducing as much as you can green gases emissions, with an objective of being carbon neutral in the near future. We would love to be. We sort of have a commitment to be carbon neutral by 2029 at the latest, when we will celebrate our 300 years old. But if we can go faster, believe me, we will try everything that's possible to be carbon neutral before. And if you look at the global impact that a company like a house like us have on environment. Often people think that a lot of things take place in the vineyard and at the winery, that this is the most impactful area. And we did what we call a scope study on our like a carbon cycle at Ruinart, for a few years, and we have a very recent actually result. And in fact, the most impactful area of producing champagne is in packaging.
Interesting.
And so we've tackled this issue quite many years ago. We started nearly 10 years ago by being quite creative in the world of packaging. Like our gift box was like the most eco-friendly gift box in Champagne. One of the lightest, completely compostable, recyclable. We eliminated plastic completely. Everything was eco-source. So it was already very, very good. But we thought we should go a step higher, because the lifespan of a gift box is approximately 15 minutes once you buy it. So it's crazy. It's like you get it, you take it home, and you throw it away, and you hopefully in the recycling bin, because it's completely recyclable, but I'm afraid not everybody does. So we had the feeling that we should go further. And at the same time, we were looking at a way to protect the bottle. So this is the innovation.
Wow, interesting.
This is currently being released in France and in a few selected European markets. It's called Second Skin. And basically, this is the future of gift box. So it's completely made with paper, with fibers of paper. It is 9 times lighter than a regular gift box. In terms of carbon green gases emissions, it's 60% better, and that is a huge statement. That is a huge, it's a disruptive packaging in a way. It fully protects the bottle. This is what is left here. It's so light. It's like a feather, but then it's luxury. It's very silky in a way, even though it's made of paper. Of course, the forest that give this paper are eco-managed. Like when one tree is removed, 5 are planted. You have all the ink, any material is obviously also eco-friendly, and this is completely recyclable and even compostable. So
nice.
We don't encourage people to throw it away, but it can be. I have a composter at home. It was degraded. It was eaten in 2 months by my worms. So this is completely disruptive. It never existed before. It's new. We hope other people will follow this, because we think it's not something that should remain in our hands. We want more players in the industry and outside of our industry. Why not in the perfume industry? There's too much packaging that is absolutely useless. I mean, it's only used to promote. But then, if you think about it, what is it? Maybe luxury is more into simplicity, and simple can be super well designed, beautiful, and well conceived.
I will tell you, it's an innovative piece. It's exciting news, definitely, that you are thinking of packaging as a way to innovate and always taking into consideration the environment, which is, of course, something that we all need to be concerned about. Moving on, so Kayla, do you want to go ahead with the next question that we have for Frédéric?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's also very elegant, I think. Yeah, the packaging.
And if you would touch it, it's sort of like it feels like the chalk in the cellars. And then one thing, you can put it in an ice bucket. It will stand the water for 3 hours, and I've used it longer and quite a few times. When you serve it, it's like it's wrapped. Usually the sommelier wrap into the napkin the bottle. Well, you don't have to wrap it anymore. It's easy to grab, and it's like a new way of serving champagne, as well. So it comes with kind of a ceremony. So it's amazing. Wonderful. We're super proud, and my biggest hope is that in 3 years from now, we will look at the old gift box as how could we ever do this back then?
Yeah,
this is the mindset we have, and we want people to have.
Yeah, I want to talk about the wine or the champagne experience, because I'm always wondering why we as a society enjoy wine and champagne so much, as opposed to different kind of drinks, like let's say beer, whiskey. But there's something about champagne. There's something about wine that makes it unique. What do you think that is?
Kayla, you mean you as people living in Puerto Rico or all over the world?
All over the world. In Puerto Rico too, of course.
Well, yeah. We have to give credit to our ancestors in Champagne, who very early on managed to associate champagne and happy moments, celebration, that's how they started. If you look at the first letters of people like at Ruinart, but not only at Ruinart, traveling Europe, they would like listen to who would get married soon, like among the rich and famous, who is going to get a baby soon, who is going to be a king soon, and all those celebratory moments. They say you have to have champagne, and I think this is how we champagne has this unique status, unique symbol, and then of course comes the quality of the product. I think that we have very strict rules in our region. We're one of the most advanced, if not the most advanced in the world when it comes to regulations and smart regulations, not like stupid regulations. Um, Unique terroir, unique combination of soil, and no one can deny that there's excellent sparkling wines all over the world. But I have yet to find a region that makes top sparkling wine that can age as long and as gracefully as the best champagne. This honestly, I don't think it exists. Maybe in the future, but not now. So we have those two things. Like it's one of the most amazing wine, and I'm talking wines, okay, with bubbles, effervescent, but it's still a wine in the world, with amazing aging capacity, with amazing food pairing potential, and at the same time, it's a celebratory drink, which you want to have, whether when you're successful, when you have a happy moment. In champagne, even also when we have a sad moment, we drink champagne.
I was going to say that.
I always say, don't wait for a special moment to drink champagne, because champagne is the one that makes the moment special. That's how you should.
So we have maybe a couple more questions for you, and we were talking earlier about the impact the pandemic has had in the world, in traveling and in enjoying experiences that most of us would get when we travel. And the a new year, it's coming. How will you say goodbye to 2020? Either if it's going to be a symbolic gesture, or how you hope for things to be better next year?
I think I will drink. I will open a Jeroboam of Ruinart Blanc de Blanc, because it will be enough to say goodbye. Because we really need to say goodbye to 2020, which was a tough year, to say the least. Even though for wines we're very happy, the vintage was actually very successful. So if there's one thing that I can't blame 2020, that we can't blame 2024, it's the quality of the vintage. But so we have to really say goodbye. So we have some time together with friends and family, but there should be plenty of leftover to enter 2021, which can only be better. So that would be my open a big bottle, open a Magnum, open a Jeroboam, and let's celebrate to bye 2020 and hello 2021.
and hopefully it'll be better for the entire world. It's been definitely a difficult year. So one last question, unless Kayla have something else to add. What would be your message for the followers of Ruinart, the fans, the hardcore fans that you certainly have here in Puerto Rico?
Well, we think of you guys. We obviously love to have Ruinart in Puerto Rico. I mean, think of us. We're entering winter. It was +2 degrees last week. It was sunny today, but soon it's gonna be like freezing and raining and gray weather. And you guys are in paradise. I know. Sometimes the economics are not easy, but you have an environment outside which is amazing. You can go to the beach, take a boat, go on an island. You have to, it's funny, sometimes people don't realize the luck that they have next to them. We have Paris, and we don't go to the Eiffel Tower, we don't go to the Louvre, because it's too close to, we don't think about it. When I see you guys, I'm quite envious sometimes at the lovely condition that you have around, even though it's been tough for you. Of course, we're not forgetting what you went through with the hurricanes and the earth. So it wasn't for sure always easy, but make the best of it. Again, champagne makes you see the good sides of life, the good things in life. I always see my glass, for sure, never half empty,
always half full.
Often half full, but even better, refillable. That's the most important.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap up the conversation. I
So
think.
cheers, guys.
Uh,
Empty, but I will fill it up soon.
Well, I think it's a good moment to do the same. We are around lunchtime here in Puerto Rico, so again, Frederic, thanks for your time. It's always a great pleasure to talk to you. You have another question, Kayla?
Kayla, yes.
Yeah. What will be your next travel destination?
Oh, that's a good one.
For work, I don't know which one it will be because we haven't organized the year for next year. But my hope that my first work destination will be Japan, because if there's one country in the world that I'm missing the most when it comes to quality of food, quality of way to enjoy Ruinart, Japan has so much sophistication, and that it's amazing. I mean, if you've never been to Japan, make sure that one day you go, because it's like no experience. For personal, I hope it will be. I know it will be Latvia, because this is where my fiance is. So it's not that far, and I'll manage to go there.
Oh, excellent. So
and third, maybe Puerto Rico, because I'm a big diver. I love to fish. I love to I like to party. So I think your island has amazing potential for that.
Yeah, I was precisely wanting to wrap up the conversation, precisely, inviting you down here to Puerto Rico on behalf of Méndez and Company. So whenever you want to come down here, you're more than welcome. Again, as you know, we have this beautiful weather all year around. So hopefully you'll get to fish and to eat some of that tacos and ceviche that you said you like on your next visit.
Por favor.
So thanks again, Frederic, for your time. We look forward to talking to you soon. And I guess happy holidays, happy New Year. We'll talk soon at the beginning of the year to see what new things you have for 2021. All right.
A lot of good things to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Abrazo.
Cheers. Abrazo.
Salud.
Salud. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.